tank. He good at setting traps. Has crazy power that he believes in. And a great chin too, because he's a guy. He'll let you get out punches, and he'll still be coming at you. And then once he catches you, it's a wrap.
Great. Crawford's one of the best switch hitters, I think, since Marvin Hagler, and one of the most skillful boxers alive.
He has very good skills. He's one of my favorite boxers. He able to win this fight.
Errol Spence was shocked after watching Terence Crawford train for his fight against Canelo. Since he's fought Crawford before, Errol already knew Crawford was smart and skilled. But seeing this training camp, he was amazed at Crawford's speed, accuracy, and perfect footwork. Crawford looked like a powerful machine, sharp, fast, and totally focused. Errol warned that Canelo should not take this version of Crawford lightly.
Yeah. Right here, roll.
When Crawford talked about his fight with Errol Spence, he showed a lot of respect for him. Crawford is known for being smart and calm in the ring. He said his strategy is to wear his opponents down slowly and then attack with powerful combos when the time is right.
How hard does Spence hit?
He didn't hit that hard.
But he never caught you that clean. That was probably the best shot he landed.
No, he caught me a couple of times, but I was surprised at how hard he didn't hit.
Really?
And given that everybody say, "Oh, he's a big puncher," he's this. I think he's just a volume puncher. I think he just wears opponents down, just wear them down. I don't think he has a one punch knockout. He have power, but it's not like boom, sleep. Right. I think it's like bam, oh, boom, 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 and then he just wear you down.
Right. Yeah. That is a difference, right?
Because if you look at his career, you never seen him like knock nobody out with one punch. You never see him, dropping nobody with one punch. You always see him like wearing them down. That's why he goes so hard to the body, because he want to wear you down. Then once you get tired and once your body start weakening, everything start weakening. And those little punches that wasn't hurting start hurting.
Former champion and boxing analyst Chris Aldry gave an interesting comparison between Crawford and Canelo. Said Crawford always stays in control during his fights, while Canelo has had moments where he struggled, especially against Dimitri Bivol. Bivol used his size, jab, and discipline to control that fight. Aldry said Crawford's smart, technical style could also give Canelo a lot of problems, even at a higher weight.
And Terence Crawford, who do you think can be the boss that night? When you talk about these two guys, you talk about two guys, number one, you can't boss me around. Yep. Two guys, you can't even look at me a certain way without me feeling some type of way. These guys now have set their sights on one another. Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. Obviously, we know the weight difference, but we've seen Crawford looks like he's coming up slowly to that weight class and kind of acclimating himself in real time. How do you see that fight playing out?
We're still pretty far away from that fight, and I'm going to hold my complete analytics on that. But I'll tell you this.
Contrast and compare, maybe not a pick.
But I'll tell you this. I've seen Canelo pushed around. I've never seen Terence pushed around. So when you talk about who's going to be the boss, I've never seen anyone boss Terence Crawford. I've seen Canelo get bossed. So that just psychologically, when you think about that, and this is a fight where I flip flop on both guys because there's so many good points. Yeah, but he's 168. Yeah, but it's Terence Crawford. He's undefeated. Well, yeah, this guy's beating this, but stylistic. Even he hits him on the arm. There's so many different things you can talk about. But from a psychological standpoint, who's fresher, who's meaner, who wants it more? That's going to come into play.
As a boxing fan, how much fun is it to see those two attitudes come together? It's kind of like the unstoppable force versus the immovable object getting ready to collide.
I've worked a lot of Canelo fights. The Canelo fight weeks are great. He plays to the crowd really well. His fans are awesome. I'm thinking about the Caleb Plant situation. I'm thinking about the Billy's Joe Saunders situation. When he gets that in his head that he's got an extra chip, he becomes a really dangerous man.
Commentator Max Kellerman gave a fair breakdown. Said both fighters have strengths, but Crawford might have the edge based on recent fights. Max pointed out that Crawford's timing, ability to switch stances, and knockout power are better than ever. On the other hand, Canelo seems a bit slower and less aggressive these days. While Canelo's size can help him in close range, Kellerman believes Crawford is more complete and sharper overall right now.
Counterpunching. But overall, I have to say Crawford. If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford. What Canelo has is size, and as a result, physical strength and punching power. Canelo also has a great chin. But in terms of if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Trout, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him. But in recent years at super middleweight, he's gotten really good at cutting off the ring. Again, last fight notwithstanding. So as an overall suite of skills, recent vintage, it's been Crawford.
Okay.
But Canelo also is skilled and has a larger skeleton than Crawford. No matter what they weigh, Canelo's the bigger guay.
Yeah. So you briefly mentioned Canelo's power. So who, I would assume Canelo has the
You'd have to think, unless Crawford, Crawford was on a knockout streak until he moved up to junior middleweight and then failed to stop Madrimov. So, and Canelo, though he has not stopped anyone in a while, we've seen he's a real puncher at 68.
As far as speed, who has a better speed?
You would imagine Crawford, given the fact that he is the naturally smaller fighter.
This fight is interesting for many reasons. Crawford is moving up to a heavier weight, which can affect his speed and stamina. But Canelo isn't as explosive as he once was either. Lately, Canelo has been more careful and less aggressive. Could help Crawford. If Crawford shows up with his footwork, smart thinking, and stamina, he has a clear chance to win.
For Canelo, obviously at 168, he has been a bit of the smaller man at that weight class. And in the last couple of years has had trouble finishing opponents and getting guys out of there like he would have at 160 or 154. So you have a bit of a duality there. Both guys coming into this fight in the, let's say, twilight of their careers, or maybe twilight of their primes, however you want to look at it. Is going to be, I think, 35. Terrence is 38. So you have a similar situation, different paths and different struggles for both fighters. But when you look at who has to do more in this fight, it's clearly Terrence Crawford as far as what he's giving up and sacrificing to win this third undisputed championship and to try to beat Canelo, who has only been beat twice in his career, one of which was Floyd Mayweather being slick and tagging Canelo with counter punches when Canelo missed, being the smaller, lighter fighter and up there in age that was still able to take advantage of the youth and experience of Canelo Alvarez, but also just being a defensive maestro and able to counter off of that. Floyd is one of one. And then you have Dimitri Bivol, who was the bigger fighter. And the things that Canelo does very well didn't really hurt him too bad, right? The things that had carried Canelo up in division was his power and the ability to break an opponent down, maybe not stopping them in the early to mid part of fight.
Young boxer Abdullah Mason shared his belief that Crawford will not just win, but surprise a lot of people. Said many underestimate Crawford's power. While most think Canelo is stronger because he's bigger, Mason thinks Crawford's timing, angles, and precision might be more effective. If Crawford can land clean punches, especially later in the fight, Mason's prediction might come true.
I'll say Canelo Crawford, your prediction quickly.
Canelo Crawford. I got faith that Crawford could take it. Crawford. I feel like Crawford, he might surprise some people with his strength. So it all depends on who's the better fighter that night.
Dimitri Bivol, the man who beat Canelo recently, also spoke highly of Crawford. Said Crawford has built up his body well and has the skills to win. Bivol's opinion matters because he knows what it takes to beat Canelo. He praised Crawford's discipline, speed, and intelligence. If someone like Bivol believes in Crawford, it shows this fight is much closer than it may seem.
Him in Dubai maybe a month ago, I saw him. He's big, and he has very good skills. He's one of my favorite boxers. He able to win this fight. but there is a lot of but, and even not but, there is a lot of things, small things, which we don't know how he will deal with this. He need to get used to the power and pressure of 168 because it's different, big difference, to be honest. Maybe he will get used to it, and how he will be feeling himself at the same day when he will fighting, how his training camp will go on, and a lot of things. But he's able, he has good skills, he's awkward, he can use two boxing stance. It gives him benefits, of course.
I was at that same event in Dubai just before Christmas, and I saw him too, and I thought exactly the same thing, which is that he is quite big.
Yeah.
Size obviously is important. Jermell Charlo stepped up from super welterweight to super middleweight to box Canelo, and it didn't work at all for him. But Crawford is, I mean, he's one of the best fighters in the world, isn't he? I mean, obviously you...
Boxer Keith Thurman gave a deep analysis. Said casual fans might think the fight is even, but a closer look shows key differences. Thurman pointed out how Canelo struggled against Jermell Charlo, especially when Charlo used smart footwork. Even though Canelo was aggressive, he couldn't land big shots. Thurman said Crawford, who was even smarter than Charlo, could give Canelo even more problems using his ring IQ.
And, you know, we ain't getting punched in the face, so let's just watch the show and enjoy, people. You know what I'm saying? Let's just watch what these champions do. No matter what they do, they're both great. They're both going to continue to be great. But by the end of the day, one will be above the other.
Your eyes?
It's not like... I think a lot of people are going to lean towards Canelo. I don't want to say it's like... I feel like for the fans, it's coming off 50-50. Like it's hard for me to really commit, because this is what happened, right? When Canelo just fought the Charlo, right? When he just fought Charlo, he knocked Charlo down. But after he knocked Charlo down and Charlo was using ring movement, he never hit Charlo with another big shot, okay? This is what Keith Thurman is watching. I'm not saying like, oh, Canelo didn't do good. Like, Canelo dominated. That fight, he dominated, right? But let's just pay attention to little details, right? After he got dropped, he never got hurt again. Why, you ask? Why did Canelo not hurt him again? Oh, because he was on his bike, because he was using lateral movement, because he was watching with his eyes, and because he was being, you know, attentive with his defense, and he was able to make Canelo miss, but he was not able to make him pay.
On his podcast, Joe Rogan and comedian Mike Vecchione praised Crawford. Rogan called Crawford one of the best and most dangerous fighters in the world. He talked about Crawford's skills, mindset, and strong work ethic. Joe said this fight is not just a challenge, but a huge chance for Crawford's legacy and career. Crawford himself spoke about the size difference and said Canelo might try to wear him down with pressure. But Crawford stayed calm and confident. He said he's ready. For anything Canelo brings, his mindset shows not just physical preparation, but mental strength too. He's not underestimating Canelo, but he trusts his own ability to adapt and win. That combination of humility and self-belief makes Crawford a very dangerous opponent.
Work has been going great, and, you know, fight time, we're going to be prepared to put on a great show for you guys.
Has this been in your mind? We've been talking about it forever. Did you feel like this was eventually going to be the case, that you and Canelo were going to eventually get in there?
Not at all. Not at all. I didn't, you know, think it was, you know, a fight that he wanted. So I didn't really know. But, you know, thanks to Turkey, Al-Sheikh, he made it possible. And, you know, we got one of the biggest fights in the last decade, you know, happening at Allegiant Stadium, September 13th.
when you get in there, what do you expect? Everyone's going to make, a size difference, but what do you expect when you get in there with Canelo?
I'm expecting Canelo to be Canelo. He's the bigger man. I expect him to, box a little bit, but I also expect him, to try to walk me down and be the bigger man. So, we expect everything in there.
I was looking it up, and I think the last time Bud Crawford was an underdog for a fight was the Prescott fight back in 2013. Any difference? Do you even pay attention to odds, or that doesn't matter to you when you step in there into the ring that night?
No, it definitely don't matter. The odds can't fight for him. So, it is what it is.
Actor and martial artist Michael J. White also shared his thoughts and picked Crawford to win. His reason was clear. Crawford has done this before. Even though he's moving up in weight, Terrence has always proven that he can beat bigger fighters by using smart strategies. According to Michael, this fight isn't something new for Crawford. It's just a different opponent on a bigger stage. He believes Crawford will stay calm and do what he always does. Fight smart, fight hard, and stay sharp. Ask ChatGPT.
No. So you would put your money on Crawford?
Yes.
You'd make money.
Okay.
Just put that out there.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think Crawford's going to beat him?
Because Crawford could find people to fight like Canelo, who is amazing. Canelo has he's, oh my God, like he evolved. I saw how he evolved defensively and everything. I just don't think he's as fast as Crawford. And I think Crawford is just a little step ahead as far as movement is concerned. And so I think it's going to be Mayweather Canelo Part 2. That's what I think.
Canelo is naturally heavier.
Yeah, Crawford ain't gonna knock him out.
Huh.
But I don't know if Canelo's gonna land very solidly on Crawford.
Be the best example for him.
Last question for you.
Crawford, Canelo, who wins? Man, both of them guys are great. I respect Canelo. I respect Crawford to jump in and take a big fight like that. And that's what makes great fights, to see the big fights and wondering which side gonna win. But like I said, they say Canelo is the GOAT. I remember when Canelo fought Floyd, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like we getting another chance at seeing Crawford fight Canelo.
Look, it's just Canelo doesn't go out for the knockout anymore. Canelo's just now. We've seen in the last few fights, he just does enough to win. He did the same again, Munguia. He dropped Munguia, but then they didn't want to finish him. Charlo, Berlanga. He wants to cruise through the fight. He's up there, and not in age because he's only like 33 or 34. Yeah. But he's
fighting since 15.
He was 15. A lot of training camps, a lot of sparring matches. So all that takes a lot out of your body. So he takes care of his body too. So he doesn't go all out because he doesn't want to just finish his body. He knows he still has a few more years and a few big fights where he wants to take care of himself and not punish himself too much. That's why he hasn't been able to knock those guys out. Not because he can't. I think he just does enough to win. I think Shiraz also has great power, man. I think Shiraz has the power.